Hey there, Moms Without Capes. Onnie here. So this is pre-recorded, not live this week, because I am on a momcation, which I just learned that word for it. So it's just cracking me up. I also heard mom sabbatical, so both of them ring true this week. I decided to fly off to sunny Florida. As you may know, I live in Montana, and so Florida is a long way from home. But I decided to take a few days just to take a true vacation. Now, I've been married for 23 years. Actually, I think 23 years this summer. I think we're going to celebrate our 23rd. A mom for 22 years. And for 21 of those years, I had never taken a vacation by myself, except to fly over and visit my mom. And when my dad was alive as well. Over in Pennsylvania. So after we moved to Montana, I would travel back, sometimes with the kids, sometimes just for a quick trip by myself. But to actually take a vacation somewhere that I don't know a single soul, that's only been within the past 2 years. And last year I went, and it ended up being so relaxing and such a break from all of the demands of motherhood. No matter how I coach moms to slow down and deal with all the perfectionism and the people pleasing, and to clear their schedule so that they can focus on themselves. But I do that for the everyday routines, right? Setting up routines that are going to help you be able to have time for yourself so that you can practice self-care each day. But even when you do that, there's still going to be days that you feel overwhelmed. There's still going to be days that you feel like you're not measuring up, or being the mom that you want to be. And what my program does is help you self-correct much faster, right? Because we deal with changing those underlying thoughts. But taking a momcation is something in the beginning of my years as a mom, it's not something that even was on the radar. Over the years, it started becoming more of this fantasy, sitting on the beach and sipping pina coladas. And because my life was so congested. But then as the years went by, as they do, I decided that I was going to take a break each year. More of not just practicing self-care each day, which I've learned to do, but also taking time away. People get vacations from their jobs, right? They get to stop what they're doing, and it's encouraged, and even more so since the pandemic, when people realized how important mental health was. So I decided that I needed to take a break, for my own sanity, for my own mental health. Being able to remove myself from the daily demands of motherhood, it's something that I only fantasized about, and then I decided to make it happen. What am I waiting for? And I found that it also allowed my husband to step up, because I do a lot, and you probably do a lot as well. And a lot of times we end up taking each other for granted, my husband and I. And it gave him an opportunity to kind of see what life was like in my shoes, and gave him an opportunity to father up. It's I don't even know how to dad up. And it also gave the kids the opportunity to realize that they are okay. As much as they need me, right? That they are perfectly okay, and they can handle everyday decisions, and they get to experience life differently, because we do get stuck in that rut and that routine. So for example, my 12-year-old was going on a field trip today, and I called her up to let her know, to tell her to have a fun day and all that. And I said, are you packing your stuff? And she's like, no, I already have it packed last night, right? This is something that if I was home we probably would have been getting last minute stuff together, but my husband, I made him a list. We went over everything. Actually, he made his own list, as I shared with him, like what needs to happen during the week. And in an earlier conversation with my mom, before I came, she's like, do you think Jason will actually do all of these things, or do you think that he's going to blow off half of them? And I'm like, no, I had true confidence that he would let the kids go to their birthday party. Like my youngest got invited to a birthday party. They had like a movie night fundraiser at school. And I had confidence that he was going to actually follow through and bring the kids. And now he might do it differently. He might not actually go to the movie night, where I would be more likely to actually go and sit with the kids and stuff. But I really felt like he was going to do it. So I gave him a chance to dad up, gave the kids a different opportunity to experience life without mom, only temporarily. As I kept telling my kids, I'm like, I will come back a better mom, which I do, because I'm on a true vacation where I don't have any responsibilities or any demands. Well, I still have responsibilities, but I don't have like demands. I don't have to worry about compromising or like asking everyone else, what do you want to eat for dinner? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? Right? Like, I had to really tune into what I felt and my own needs and be able to meet those needs. So it ended up only being 5 days. Well, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, weekend. 5 days. I got here on Thursday, so that was only like half of a day, to be able to go and come and do what I enjoy, which is just going to the beach. I got really sunburned the first 2 days, but I went and invested in some good sunscreen and wore my coverall, and that Florida sun can be pretty hot. So I was better prepared yesterday and was able to get to the beach and just enjoy the sunshine and the warmth. I went in the ocean and lots of people watching, of course. But it was just really like a true vacation that I'm not going to need a vacation from, or another vacation when I leave here, which so many vacations are like that, right? You get home from vacation, you feel like you need another vacation just to recover. When you're taking a momcation, it's not like that. It's really a true relaxing vacation. So anyway, that was a long story just to tell you that this week I have pre-recorded, and so I'm coming to you not live, but on a recorded video. But you can watch the replay just the same. So today we're going to talk about journaling for self-discovery. All right, so I am an avid journaler. I have I've been like that since I was a little girl. In fact, in my hope chest, I have a list. I have a stack of diaries from when I was like 4th, 5th, 6th grade. Even the ones that had the little locks on them, those old school ones, they still make them because my daughters have them. But I was always into writing down and keeping good record of what's going on in my life, right? Like back in like 6th, 7th grade, it was like, who was the cutest boy in class, or, what I got in my test, or what I'm doing with my friends this weekend. Like, it was always that kind of stuff. But of course, what I write in my journal has evolved over the years. And nowadays, I write things. In fact, I even brought it on my vacation. So this is my current journal. And in it, I write, I have a space in it that I write what I am grateful for. So I have a running list. Let me check how many things I have on it, because this is a fairly new journal, but I was trying to do it every day, but now I've gotten to about maybe 3-4 times a week that I write down what I'm grateful for. So I've got 173. Last time I wrote was like a day or two ago. And I've got a lot of things to be grateful for right here, and so I should have wrote more, but it's okay. It's okay because it's mine. It's just for my own sake. And so I get to decide what I put in my journal. So I keep a little section of just writing 1 or 2 things each day or a few times a week of what you're grateful for or what I'm grateful for. And then in the back of my journal, I have just a few affirmations. And these are, if you listen to last week's Facebook Live, I talked about affirmations. And so these are some realistic affirmations. I only have 5 of them that I focus on each time I write in my journal, I'll turn to the back and just say them. I didn't write a lot because I don't want to focus on a lot of things. Like when I focus on too many, I can't really meditate on just those few, and they don't mean as much. So I only wrote 5, and I say them, and then in the middle is where the bulk of my journaling takes place, and that's where I will write. I usually spend about 10-15 minutes, not long, and I'll write a lot about like my business or things that are happening with my family or in my relationships, things that I'm wondering, like things that I want to pursue, things that have happened yesterday. I like to keep good record because I like to reread my journal, and I like to kind of just remember I don't have a great memory. So looking back at my journal will jog certain things. But the best part about journaling is that when you have all of these thoughts in your mind, and you might be inclined to be an overthinker, all of these thoughts are like mumble jumble in your mind. And when you take the time to write that out, to do a brain dump and to put what is in your mind, what are you thinking of, like what worries you have, what thoughts you have, when you start putting them down on paper, you start getting clarity, because it starts creating it starts being more organized, because as they're floating through your mind, you have all kinds of things that are happening and you can't really grab onto those thoughts. So journaling allows you to grab onto those thoughts, put them in front of you, and create order of them. It also allows you to get a different perspective, because sometimes when you're reading, when they're in your mind, you're kind of drawn to all the what ifs, and because you don't have order to them, there's no like cataloging of them, they're just floating in your mind. When you put them on paper and you're able to read that in black and white, a lot of times your perspective shifts. You're able to see things or even your situation from a different viewpoint, which is always good because that helps you reframe your thoughts. It also grounds you because you're bringing in more senses. When it's all in your mind, it's just floating. And when you're able to sit down and put pen to paper, now that's important, not just typing out. Of course, there's going to be benefits of typing out, but there's even more benefits. Studies have shown that the actual art of journaling and putting pen to paper is going to be more grounding, because you're bringing in more of the senses. You're feeling that pen, you're seeing it with your eyes, you're reading it, you're hearing it. If you read it out loud, you're hearing it, or even if you're hearing it in your own mind. Like being able to put those thoughts to paper allow you to, it's more of like an act of mindfulness. Let me take a sip of my water. So journaling has been shown to be an amazing tool for your mental health. In my counseling practice, it's always one of the things that I recommend my clients to do each week. So if you don't know, I do my counseling virtually, and so each week I send my clients a newsletter, and it's on various things, right? So today's Monday. I'm recording this Monday, so the day before you're watching this, or the day before it's published. And I wrote this week's about feelings, and so in it I talk all about feelings. But at the end of it, I always include a journal opportunity, and this is just a basic prompt based on what I write about in the newsletter to help my clients reflect on their life and reflect on how they can apply what they just learned to their life. Because we read a lot of things and we don't actually take the time to reflect and see how does this new information, how can we assimilate it into our life. And so we end up just either forgetting the information or just going on to new information without actually taking that time for reflection. And so that's what journaling allows you to do. It creates that space so that you can reflect, learn from, and grow from what you just learned. It's also a great tool for increasing your mood. When you are able to sit down and write and reflect on what's going on in your mind, you're going to feel that your mood elevates. It's a natural consequence. This is maybe surprising to you, but journaling has actually been tied to improvement in your immune system. So that's just an interesting tidbit of I found that pretty interesting. It also, and this is like a natural consequence as well, also helps you improve your stress levels. And, we've been talking a lot about stress lately, and as moms, stress levels can get pretty high, right? Which is why I'm on vacation. And so when you take the time to sit down and write in a journal, you're going to find that you're able to battle stress better, manage your stress better. So when you are writing in your journal, it's a great time to reflect on where you're at, where you're going, and then the points that you are getting stuck at. Like, what is holding you back? Where do you want to go? Many of you may not have even asked yourself that. Like, where do you see yourself in 5 years, 10 years? Where do you see yourself in 1 month? How do you want to grow and be different for yourself and for your family? And then what's keeping you from doing that, from being where it is that you want to be? So you don't need much to start journaling. If you're completely new to journaling, all you need is a journal or a notebook, a pen or a writing utensil, 15 to 30 minutes of free time. You can even start with 5 minutes. Maybe set a timer. 5 minutes that you're just going to sit here, and if you get one sentence, there's actually a thing like one sentence journaling, and if you are really strapped for time, or you're like, I don't know what to write, which I'll get to in a minute, so I have a resource that can help you with that. Set a timer for 5 minutes and just write. Just write, even if it's just one sentence. You can do this while you're in the car waiting for your kids to get done practice, while you're waiting for your kids to come out of school or whatever. It doesn't have to be a big ordeal. You can still get benefits from it if you spend just 5 minutes sitting in the car and reflecting. And then you just need a quiet place. It's hard to journal when you've got kids running around, or you've got the TV on, all of these things that prevent you from hearing your own thoughts. You need to create a private space. Go into a closet if you need to, or go into the bathroom. I mean, even that, you might have kids banging at the door. But make it a practice maybe before you go to sleep, before you turn off the nightlight. Making sure that you are just giving yourself some time to hear your own thoughts and to get them out onto paper. So some things, I'm going to give you a few prompts, and then at the end of this video, I'm going to share with you, I'll also put it in the description of this video, some prompts or a resource that you can use that's going to give you some more prompts. Or if you're listening to this on the podcast, you'll find that in the show notes. So writing a letter to your younger self is a great way to kind of get in touch. It's that mindfulness piece again, right? Bringing yourself, what did I learn since I was young, right? Mine, I would write to my teenage self and say, what kind of knowledge do I want to pass on? Or what would have been useful to know back then, although I probably wouldn't have listened to myself, right? Let's be real here. But just the act of sitting down and writing a letter to your younger self can really help you get in touch with yourself, which that's what this is all about, right? Self-discovery. How is your life different now than it was 5 years ago? How do you want your life to be different 5 years from now? You could do 10 years, you could do 6 months. It's up to you, but it's just to get those brain juices flowing and get it out on paper. Describe your ideal day. Again, this might be a fantasy. This might be not something that's very realistic in the season of life that you're in right now. But if you could choose your ideal day, what would that look like? Mine would definitely include a trip to Barnes & Noble's. I love spending time in the bookstore, so mine would definitely include that. List some things that put you in a good mood. Now, this is just a list, right? It doesn't require much, but it does require you to think about what are some things that put you in a good mood. And then what's a compliment that you struggle to accept? And why do you struggle with that? So again, these 5 prompts are just something that to get you going and to get you thinking about things that you could put in your journal. Again, I wanna stress that writing it out is definitely better than typing, but if you are on your computer and typing is more convenient for you, don't let that hold you back. And then don't let the fear of doing it hold you back. Like, if doing it wrong, there's no right or wrong way to journal. The journaling practice is completely for you. You don't have to worry about being perfect at it or even good at it. It's just a matter of doing some brain dumps and to start reflecting on yourself, because that's where you're going to get that self-discovery piece. This is super important. If you feel that you've lost yourself, if it's been so long since you've gotten in touch with yourself, like you don't even know what it is that you like to do anymore or who you are. Like once you became a mom, you struggled to kind of get yourself navigate those roles, the role of motherhood, right? The role of mothers. That's not the role. But this is a great tool to use if that's you. Grab my list of journal prompts. Okay, it's at momswithoutcapes.com/journaling. I'll put the link in the description, or if you're listening to this on the podcast, you can find that in the show notes. It's going to just give you, I don't even know how many, I think like 30 to 40 prompts that you can use to start journaling. Or if you have already been journaling, you might want to download this list as well, just to get your, just some ideas to spur your creativity and get your brain juices flowing. So get that list, and that's it for today. So I hope to see you all next week. Let me know in the comments if you've watched this. I guess it's all going to be replay, but just let me know if you watch us. If you have any questions about it, please let me know. And let me know what your biggest takeaway is. That's a lot of things. Download the list and let me know what your biggest takeaway is from this video, what you're going to learn, and let me know if I have inspired you to take up the act or the practice of journaling. All right, Moms Without Capes, take care. I'll see you when I get back to Montana, and I hope that you all have a great week. Take care of yourself.